Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, my voice is not there and that's why I've not been around as much lately. But we do have a fair bit of news to get over today, and we've also got a game that I want to cover as well. So today we are playing Bournemouth at 12:30, and it is the first game we've had since we've played Man United and absolutely demolished Manchester United 7-0. Now, the hard thing for me in this game is how do we line up? So we've got some news that's come out from Jurgen's press conference for this game, and basically it says here that Diaz, Gomez and Thiago are all still out. The first two, Diaz and Gomez, could be back by next week, and we've got no date as of yet for when Thiago could be back. So with that in mind, and with the midweek game against Real Madrid, which obviously we need to win 4-0, we've got to decide on what we do today, don't we? Do we go with the same team that played Man United, or do we potentially change it up a little bit and rest some players for midweek? We've got to bear in mind that we are Liverpool, and obviously I think Liverpool can go to the Bernabeu and win, but are realistically going to win by 4-0 there. And do we just try and shore up this league position? So for me, what I would do is I would probably start the same team that started against United, and then if we go so far ahead, then we make changes. But I don't think it's going to be the same as what we did early in the season when we smashed Bournemouth. You know, Bournemouth almost beat Arsenal last week. They're fighting for their survival in the Premier League. So it could be a bit of a close game, could this one? You know, it could be a bit of a banana skin. You know, we've got Real Madrid midweek, and then we've got a few hard games in the league after that. I think, without looking right now, I'm sure our next 3 games in the league are City, Arsenal, Chelsea, in that order, I think. So we need the 3 points today. We definitely do. Because I think, again, I keep saying this a lot actually, I think we need to, even though we beat Man United, and I said that if we beat Man United, that sets us up to potentially get into the top 4. Them 3 games there could be key actually. You know, there's 9 points available there. If we could get 5 or 6, then that's pretty decent. But if we lose 2 of them games, and Spurs start picking up points around us, or Newcastle do as well, then I do feel that it's still going to be a bit beyond us, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So back to today. What would you do, guys? Would you bring Jota in, give him some much needed minutes? Do you bring Stefan in for Elliot? Even, you know, he's got a bit more bite about him, a bit more fight. Is that something we need today, or would you save him for Real Madrid? Let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you'd do today. So the other bit of news we've got to do as well, which is not kind of Liverpool related, but it is match of the day. So obviously Lineker is not going to be presenting tonight, and then we've had other presenters come out and say that they're not doing it in solidarity with Lineker. The commentators have come out and even said that they won't be commentating on the highlights. So the BBC is apparently still going to go ahead with the highlights, but there's going to be no commentary as far as I'm aware, and there's going to be no presenter. So this could actually backfire a little bit on the people that are boycotting a little bit, just in my mind, because even I'm thinking, like, am I going to tune in to see what this is like? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's in the back of my head. I want to see what this is going to be like. But the Premier League and the LMA have told clubs that not to give the BBC any pre-match, post-match or any sort of comments during this weekend. So we'll see what happens there with Match of the Day going forward. You know, I'm all for free speech and everything, so I support this 100%. I really do. Now, going on to Jurgen Klopp, he again has touched on transfers in the summer during his embargoed section of his press conference. And he spoke about the young midfielders that we've got in the team right now. And even though they're doing really well, that does not mean that we have to still go into the summer and sign some players. So what he said here is, we know exactly what we need. That didn't change anything. Stefan and Harvey are involved in these thoughts. We need players. We can't go in with 3 midfielders. There's a lot to come from the boys. Now, my first thought there is, what 3 midfielders is he talking about? Is it like Fabinho, Thiago and Henderson? So obviously that means Keita, Ox, Milner are going. So what's happening with Curtis Jones? You know? So we've got Jones. So if you add up the numbers correctly in your head, we should have 6 when them 3 leave. You know, Elliot, Stefan, Jones, Hendo, Thiago, Fabinho. That's 6. So the fact he's only mentioning 3 there says to me that potentially Jones could be on his way out. Because he's named Stefan and Harvey by name and said that they're in their thoughts, but at the same time, we need other midfielders. But he's said 3, so I thought for a long time that Curtis Jones could be going out on loan or potentially sold this summer, and that comment there makes me kind of think, maybe he is. Dave Maddock as well also put a tweet out earlier on, or one of these news aggregators put it out saying that Klopp wants Bellingham as well as a defensive midfielder, ball winging player. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Thuram at Nice, I think it is, in France. I mentioned him during January. He's the brother of Marcus Thuram, who at the same time as well, actually, is also a free transfer as well, is Marcus. So we could end up potentially with both Thurams at Liverpool, which would be pretty cool if you think about it. If we're losing Bobby Firmino, I've said in my last video that Marcus Thuram would be a really good player to bring in on a free transfer to help give us a bit more depth up front. But yeah, his brother is really, really good in midfield in France. He was rumoured to be about 40 million, I think, in January, so that could be a shrewd bit of business. Obviously, the other names that we've been mentioned a lot with is Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount, Alex McAllister was also mentioned recently, Caicedo, Mateus Nunes. We're not going to sign all these players, but we do, I think we'll... It's hard, guys, because I've got the other bit of news I want to talk to as well, but in my mind, we need to sign at least 3 midfielders. So if we need a box-to-box, which is Jude Bellingham. We need potentially a more attacking-minded midfielder. So you're looking at your McAllister, you're looking at Mason Mount there. But they're also kind of box-to-box here well. And then we need a holder as well to give Fabinho like either a rest or a bit of competition. So there you're looking at Thuram, Caicedo. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking for a mixed bag of midfielders for me. So yeah, let's see what happens in the summer. And which leads me on to the last bit of news really that I wanted to cover. And it's business as usual, isn't it, at Liverpool? So we've seen that Mike Gordon has come back to take his position back at Liverpool. And even though it was reported in news reports and it was reported over in America as well, that Mike Gordon took a step back from Liverpool so he could focus on the sale of the club or looking for investment or whatever, something like that. John Duby Emery came out and basically said, oh yeah, he was just taking a break and he's not looking for retirement, because that was also rumoured as well as to why Liverpool could potentially up for sale, is because Mike Gordon was looking for retirement. But John Emery's come out and said, oh yeah, he's not looking for retirement, he's coming back, he just took a break. So it's back to business as usual at Liverpool. It seems to be to me that all this sale of the club has been for nothing really, I think it's kind of exposed a few people as well. I don't want to name any names or anything, but we saw a lot of stuff on social media where people are saying oh, it's done, there's been meetings here, there's been this there, la-di-la-di-la, and nothing's happened. I do have a bit of a feeling that Mike Gordon coming back, it's either a case of job done, has he found investment? Is that why we've not heard anything lately? Because they've found a minority investor and that's why he's coming back. Has he found nobody and that's why he's come back, if mission failed, you know what I mean, type thing. No one's interested in that price that FSG wants. I guess time will tell, guys, but at the end of the day, I feel like if we don't get this investment into Liverpool, I want to emphasise Liverpool, not FSG, because if it goes into FSG, just like Redbird, there's no guarantee whatsoever that Liverpool will see any of that money. If the investment goes into Liverpool, the club, then yes, we will see money to spend in the summer. And personally, I'm thinking of a figure that we need to spend realistically this summer, because I think we're going to need a centre-back, we're going to need at least 3 midfielders, potentially attacker. In my head as well, guys, I'm thinking we might even need a right-back. So not to replace Trent, but to give Trent a bit more, competition, because nothing against Calvin Ramsey, but he hasn't really done much, has he? I know he's been injured and that. But we have been linked with Jeremy Frimpong over in Bundesliga. So he could be a decent right back cover as well. Right guys, anyway, that's everything I wanted to cover off in this video. I will try and get back to schedule of getting more videos out on a regular occurrence. Obviously my voice is not with it. It hasn't been for about a week or so now. So yeah, that's why I've been silent. Anyway guys, let me know your thoughts on everything down below what I've covered today. Hopefully Liverpool get the win later on today, and I'll be back with like a reaction video later on tonight. And I'll catch you in the next one.